That's the disposition I like, Dave. The sigh of resignation.
I never thought I'd have so much resignation about this show.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Are we live? Yes. Okay. Yeah, and actually, we've got Mark
go right
already
into the
in the
comments.
conversation. Hold on.
Mark's
Yeah,
ready. Mark has been waiting all day.
I don't know what this toothy Wookiee butthole is. I don't know what that means.
Yes, for those who are watching live, there is some kind of a reference in our Facebook Messenger thread, which you will not be privy to, involving Wookiee toothy orifices.
I don't know what that means.
I have an idea. I just don't know where it came from.
You are live. You are dead.
Yeah, I know. And we're talking about
we
Wookiee
are live.
All right.
Mark,
so
this is what you wanted from us. You were ready. You beat us to the live.
Yes. All right. So this is chapter 4 of the Boba Fett book club, in which we are talking about chapter 4 of the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. And once again, I've got my my shot of blue milk because we are still not off Tatooine, gang. That was the deal I made with you. I was going to take a shot for every episode that we don't. I think this whole thing is set on Tatooine, so it might just be ubiquitous and something I do now. So,
yes, Mark, Peacemaker is a better show. I know.
Oh boy. Okay.
Peacemaker is good. I will give him that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Peacemaker.
It's funny.
I still want a senior home show called Pacemaker, but that's right.
You might get that. No, okay.
That's pretty much what this show is. This show should be called Resuscitator.
Yeah. Do you think we're done with the back to tank? That's the question I want to know, because he's
fully healed.
We're going back to the tank.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's done because I think
the show. Can we stop?
I think we're left off at this chapter is that we've synced up to Mandalorian. Who are they going to call on for help? Mando.
Watch it be like Bo-Katan or something.
Who?
Bo-Katan.
Elliot.
I thought you said Bogota, like they were going to call on the country. Anyway, but
maybe.
All right. So
Bulgaria.
Elliot
for adults, Boba Fett for kids. Now here's the thing. I don't have HBO Max.
Yeah.
And if I did, I probably would not be watching Peacemaker because I hated the Suicide Squad, and one of my low points of Suicide Squad was John Cena's Peacemaker character.
Yeah,
here's
I feel you.
I got you.
Here's the deal.
I got you.
A lot of people are telling me, Peacemaker is good, but a lot of people also tell me that Nicolas Cage, has made a lot of great movies in the last few years, and I just don't see it. I will say the exception is Pig, and it took me so long to get around to watching Pig.
Yeah.
Yes, it's legitimately great, but I heard the same amount of praise for Pig that I heard about other Nick Cage movies that I couldn't stand. So I'm like, what am I supposed to take out of this?
See, that's what this show needs is a service worker fight club, underground fight club, like in Pig.
There you go.
That would be something different.
Fight club.
But Elliot's wrong. This show is not written for kids. How?
Yeah, I don't know how that's not.
The
babies. Yeah, it's not.
You know what? It's interesting that he says that because children have really liked The Mandalorian.
Because of Baby Yoda, yeah.
Because of Baby Yoda, because of Grogu, of course. But I think that Star Wars has always been. It's not been family friendly at all times, but it has been applicable to all types of different homes and different upbringings. And Disney has marketed that a lot more. And I think through The Mandalorian, children like The Mandalorian because of Baby Grogu, but because it's also genuine Star Wars, and it feels like a space Western, and it feels very gritty and very salt of the earth. Whereas I don't see a lot of kids going to Galaxy's Edge and looking for Boba Fett. I don't see a lot of, kids being paraded around in their little Mandalorian armors or their bounty hunting armor, or, it's a very different interpretation of this series. And I think it kind of reminds me of folks who watch the Criterion Collection just to say that they keep up with cinema. People are watching Boba Fett because they want to keep up with Star Wars. And granted, I was very skeptical until the very end of this episode where Ludwig Göransson's score kind of gave you that jolt of excitement and hinted at The Mandalorian. At the same time, if I need to watch Boba Fett because I want to see The Mandalorian, I may just I may as well just wait until Mandalorian season 3 or watch The Mandalorian again.
I really think this is just gonna sync up to season 3. Like this
Yes.
is literally just like a filler to give us what has Boba been doing? What was he doing since the Sarlacc? What's he been doing since the end of season 2? We're gonna catch you up. Oh yeah, season 3 is around the corner. Woohoo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think filler is the right word. I mean, one of the interesting developments that came out this week was, and I don't remember the source. I'd seen people talking about it and playing the clips, but there was an interview with Tamira Morrison and Ming-Na Wen where it came out that when he first got the script for Book of Boba Fett, he was amazed at how much dialogue there was for this character who had, he grew up or he came up knowing Boba Fett as the strong, silent, mysterious type. And he's like, why is he doing so much talking? He was trying to throw lines to Ming-Na Wen, but apparently he called Jon Favreau or tried to get in touch with him and said, I don't want to say all this. And Favreau was like, just say it.
Really?
He was in Atlanta
Wow.
and he had to call him, and Jon Favreau said, no, keep the dialogue in there. And I think if I remember correctly, he said we can cut it in post. And he just I'm not sure if this episode was the scene, because it seems like it, because there's a lot of monologuing from Boba.
There was a lot of, and I wish that there was more gravity to his monologues. Having dialogue for the sake of dialogue doesn't make it important, and it doesn't make it worthwhile. And I thought what was really interesting about the first episode was that there was a lot of telling through action instead of telling through having to explain everything to your audience or break it down. I was kind of hoping that we would see that more as the show progressed. Mark kind of goes, or he commented previously that the Knights of Ren are going to show up. Like, show me that the Knights of Ren are going to show up. Don't tell me that the Knights of Ren are going to show up. Stuff like that, where I think that this could have been a nice transition into more of these organic means of science fiction where it's not self-explanatory, where it's open to interpretation. And I have the ability to formulate my own opinions on the episode instead of having to hear you say, yeah, he called Jon Favreau up and he was just told to leave the dialogue in there because that's how he wanted it. There's no justification behind it. And I really like Jon Favreau. I think that he has really done a lot of good things over the years. I remember watching Elf as a kid and loving it, and that being one of my favorite holiday movies, and just really liking Favreau's work from Chef and Iron Man and all of that. It kind of deteriorates at his merit as a screenwriter and as a filmmaker.
I heard someone make a joke again this week that the Book of Boba Fett, because I've been saying that Boba Fett has not been in this show yet because he does not act at all like he did in Star Wars. Someone said, this isn't Boba Fett. It's another one of the clones that just happen to have maybe a Boba Fett stan who replicated his armor and made his own slave too. And he ended up at Jabba's palace on Jedi or something. It doesn't line up, but
he stumbled in the pit himself, and it's a conspiracy.
Right, because everyone's like, Boba Fett would not go out like that, bumping against a ship and falling into the sand.
Well, he certainly seems like he would now.
Yes, so this is the Boba Fett, the wonky clone version, and the big twist at the end of the show is the real Boba Fett shows up and kills him.
That would be so much
That
fun.
would be really cool.
That won't happen.
Cool.
No, it won't happen because you gotta. How did this guy get Han Solo and all this other stuff? But the sad thing is there are people who would like to see that because the alternative is what we have, which is this goofy show. I mean, the show itself doesn't even play by its own logical rules or seem to be paying attention to its own scripts, because later in this episode, Boba Fett gets his starship back, which will always, just like the Willis Tower is always going to be the Sears Tower, Boba Fett's starship will always be Slave One. I'm sorry, but he gets it back, eradicates the rogue speeder bike gang, and then goes back to the Sarlacc pit to get his armor. Because well, no, it's not just the scene.
Another idiot Boba moment.
Let's just establish that Fennec had, that we saw, it's the reason he was able to get his ship back, this little remote probe that comes out of the butt of her rifle that could have probably been sent down into the Sarlacc pit, kind of like a medical probe, instead of trying to force the entire Slave One down the maw of this, sleeping beast. And oh, what a surprise, it woke up. But that's not the big problem with this. The biggest hole is the fact that the only reason Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit is because he was wearing the Mandalore armor. And he blasted his way out of it, ended up on top of the sand, and then the Jawas came and stole it. Why doesn't he remember that he didn't lose his armor in the belly of the beast?
I was just going to say that. It's like he was there for years, I guess, at least months. And doesn't he remember that he was in his armor? Yeah. Okay. What's going on here?
Doesn't he know, like, maybe I should drop a seismic charge inside of the Sarlacc before
instead of getting so
inside of it?
Maybe he was worried about damaging the armor, but then he blew it up anyway. I don't know how strong Beskar is, but I mean, dropping a mini nuke on top of it, I'm sure would at least cause a dent.
I like how,
but it's not in there anyway.
Though. It was like I like how it went in there. It was like blop blop blop.
Yeah.
Well, they blew up Mando's ship though. Like the Beskar was the one thing that survived.
Yeah, Mando's ship was just gone.
Yeah, but the Beskar, the little. Stick.
What is this? Yeah. Is it like some kind of loophole with the Beskar that we're just being
it's invincible?
Brian Traina is right. Slave One is now fire spray, and this is the spray I'm thinking about.
It's not called fire spray. It's a fire spray class warship. There's no name for the ship right now.
What?
Hey, I don't believe in class warship, David.
This is my ship. This is such and such.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, special edition Boba Fett was making.
Speaking of special edition, they had the special edition beak and the.
That's the other thing that was so obnoxious. I can't stand that thing. It's never
weird.
Worked.
It doesn't look right.
It looks out of place.
This is yet another episode, another chapter where the artwork at the end is much better than the actual chapter.
There's like literally a picture of him in his armor sitting in front of the ship, and I'm like, where's that shot?
Where's that?
Yeah.
Why do you think they decided to dedicate so much time and attention to the end credits concept art and just totally neglect it?
They do that with Mandalorian.
They do that
too.
with. They do that with.
I'm saying,
no, but to your point, it matches what's actually in the episode compared to this.
Like you would think that they would utilize that, to be like, hey, this is what we could see instead of here's what you guys could have got. Fuck you, I'm George Lucas. I don't know,
Well, I mean, the concept stuff, I imagine that's done like long before they shoot anything. So it changed. I mean, I've mentioned that in some of the earlier episodes, we see Boba Fett, when he's running around the Tuskens, he's in like this white, kind of a tunic. And some of the Tuskens are in that same, kind of outfit, different than what we've seen. But no, we just got the regular bland ones. Okay, hold on a second. We got tons of comments. There's like a full blown like hangout going on in the chat. So yes, it does sound like Weber Grill. Beskar is the adamantium of Star Wars. Sure, yeah, I
want to see Beskar claws.
I was going to say vibranium, but go off.
For Thundercats. Are we talking about the techno kids? They kind of look like 80s.
Oh, so that's okay.
I like Beskar claws because it sounds like it'll show up in the next holiday special. Yeah, either that or it sounds like a hair product for the Thundercats. Yep, I still dug this up, Mark.
It's in the sand. How can you not dig it?
Mark, I absolutely love
your optimism, your wonder, and your appreciation. I
that's exactly
love that someone can appreciate this in a way that I can't. Because the more we watch this show, the less convinced I am that I will have any interest by the time episode 7 rolls around, except for talking about it on this show.
Maybe
but
that's
the thing is to be over.
Maybe that is the catch. Maybe you have to become so disinterested that there is this insane finale. I'm serious. There are instances where
I was thinking the same. Yeah.
I've seen shows that have had perfect endings. I've seen shows that have had abysmal endings. I've seen ones that are, just total wild cards. Maybe this is a wild card. Maybe it just doesn't know what direction it wants to go until it hits that mark that goes, hey, this is why we stuck it out for 2 months or whatever, 7 weeks. I genuinely can't tell if I don't know if it feels like a chore to sit down and watch this. I don't and
it's better than watching the news.
I do watch the news.
David, I would have that debate with you.
No, I am graded on writing reports on news reports.
Okay.
Look, okay, the news at least has drama. It's got stakes.
It has
it's
David
got
Muir of all
It
people.
has clear villains and good guys. Yeah.
nail biting tension.
Solid
Yes.
dialogue.
Yes.
Not
All right.
too much conversation.
Let's see. What did Ellie? I'm missing stuff here. This is we just have to go back to like the 16 panel show again because everyone's like talking and it's an entirely Disney Marvel thing. Elaborate end credits instead. The opening credits, yes. Let's see. I just got to put this up briefly because
text this to each other. Can you guys like text back and forth in the chat?
maybe I don't know. I remember when everyone was anxious to see Boba Fett show up in The Mandalorian, and now it's all about show up in Fett's show. How things change.
Yep.
Yep. Tables have turned. The show is still. That's a giant nope.
Yeah. No.
There was a complete change in Boba Fett after they said his back was done. He is completely healed. He was a lot better than previous episodes.
Well, no, I want to go back on that for a second. What if he is healed? What if we are deceived into thinking that he doesn't have the cancer? What if this is why he's so weak and so decrepit in a way where we don't see this very brooding, mysterious figure, right? He's kind of not as tough or as hardened as one would expect a crime lord to be. Could that cancer be coming back? That's my personal theory is that he is hiding this cancer from himself, and he's hiding it from Fennec, and he's hiding it from everyone else because they know it's a source of weakness. And he's trying to get himself involved with other things to avoid having to face that head on.
And that is the spirit of Star Wars that we've all been pining for the last 40 years. Yeah, I can't tell people I work with and love and possibly respect that I have cancer.
I can't wait to just see a scene where one of our favorite Star Wars characters dies slowly from cancer on screen.
That's what feels like, though. It feels like I am slowly dying along with him.
I was going to say, if you put a camera on me while I'm watching Book of Boba Fett, you could watch that in real time.
Yeah,
but
speed running my death.
I mean, he's already lost his hair, so.
Well, the droid says he's fully healed, but why? How is he? How and why? What
right.
are we gauging that on? Like, how do we know that he's fully healed? How does the droid know?
And I need to rewind here, gang, because I think I get mind wiped after every episode just about. But what is this cancer that Annie is referring to that I've missed? What made him sick?
I think it was the Sarlacc acid, like it got inside of him. And if you go off of, always remember to turn your phones off during a podcast. If you go off of like some of the expanded universe stuff, like apparently there is like a Sarlacc cancer he gets and they need to remove it. So I hope my theory's right. He goes back to Camino and then has some identity issues because we know now they're okay to explore things. And I'm weird. I kind of liked some of those monologues a little bit because at least it gave me some motivation. It just wasn't very strong motivation.
I'm just trying to figure out why he's depicted as so unlike himself. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it might be misdirection.
Maybe this really is himself.
Well, no, I think if it is himself, then it's not. Because, George Lucas created the character, 40 plus years ago, and he defined him as this mysterious space guy. So it's this new creative team that decided we don't want that to be Boba Fett anymore. So they are creating essentially a new character using the skin of an established character. And I'm sorry to say it, and we talked a bit about this last week, Disney has been doing this with a lot of their villains, but to much better, I think, results. Like I liked Loki,
Are you sure?
God, I did.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think of I had another example of they just keep like taking their villains and deconstructing them down to the point where they're just supposed to be quirky, sympathetic characters. And I'm like, no, Boba Fett is a killer. And if you don't want to see that, don't watch the show called The Book of Boba Fett.
So would you
say
Boba
Fett book?
Would you call this a Disney issue? Would you call it a Kathleen Kennedy issue? Would you call
whoever's making the decision?
I'm serious. Like, who do you think? Because we know that the shifting of controls and creative liberties has been moved. Do you think that there was some sort of gotcha moment that they had planned where they're like, hey, we got you. You know, you thought you were going to get this. You're still tuning in and hoping for the better. Do you think it's some sort of advertising or marketing ploy that they're kind of baiting fans with?
I don't know enough about the internal politics to speak to that. I know a lot of people have feelings about Kathleen Kennedy for what, quote unquote, she did to Star Wars. I mean, a lot of it I agree with, a lot of it I don't agree with. You know, I think the movies speak for themselves, but I feel like this is
sending you my 20-page essay on why The Last Jedi is the best sequel.
I will read that.
I'm interested to read that.
We're all subject to read it. It's
I'm a huge Last Jedi fan. Yeah. And here goes all of our viewership down the drain. But I feel like someone made the decision that they wanted to tell a very particular story that deconstructs this character and makes him, humanizes him. Like, we can't just have a show about a bounty hunter going off into space and like doing missions. The Mandalorian. We got to do something different. We're going to change Boba Fett. I think they figured they could literally do whatever they wanted with the story because everyone loves Boba Fett. You put the armor on screen and you've got a billion eyeballs. The problem is the viewership and the critical response is proven otherwise. But they've already got this show out there, so it's kind of hard to turn the ship back. Now, Elliot, and once again, I got to go scrolling back up like a billion messages to get to back where the messages are. But Elliot, when you asked about the Boba Fett cancer, I saw that right after I asked my question, so we were in sync on that. It's just kind of sloppy storytelling, I think.
There was a line. She said the wounds outside are healed, but the wounds inside take longer. But still,
well, yeah, but that's just self-help nonsense. That's the key. Is the Book of Boba Fett is a self-help book. Let's see, what more explanation do I need? Something about. Well, I mean, this again. I do need more of an explanation because if you're talking about the extended universe stuff and there being a Sarlacc cancer, none of that's mentioned in the shows or the movies.
No.
If you're talking about he was in the Sarlacc pit and he got like this cancer-ridden thing, I don't know that was established early enough on. He's just in the bacta tank. I assumed it was some kind of injuries he sustained in the Sarlacc pit, or because he got like so banged up in Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. But this cancer thing is like this other kind of curveball.
It's a piece of his lore, though. It's a piece of his character that I think we let slip so easily.
Yeah, a piece of his lore.
Having to go back, the cancer aspect where we have to backtrack and go, oh yeah, that did happen. Oh yeah, we have to remember that.
Right, and I think if that had been introduced a little bit early on, it could have just been someone from Jabba's palace saying like, "Hey, why is the boss man in that tank?" Like, "Oh, he was in the Sarlacc pit," and you're like, "Oh, he got the Sarlacc cancer," and then it's done.
Yeah, I found myself discovering this from a personal perspective because I remember hearing about it through the grapevine and being like, did I really hear that? Or did I like make that up or something? When I went back and I had to Google it and it took me like to one of those fandom Wikipedia pages or whatever that are very fan sourced. And those, those diehards who spend 18 hours a day slaving over the computer to make these pages.
Star shipping over the computer.
Star shipping, slave wanting over the computer. Yes. Excuse me. What is it? Firestarter or whatever?
Fire spray.
Drew Barrymoring over the computer. No,
Stephen King, don't come for me. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I had to find out because of my own research and my own.
You're getting behind in the comments.
My own want to know more about this character's background compared to them saying, "Hey, this is something to know." This is instead of having a flashback to fucking clones every 6 seconds.
Yeah,
I've seen that scene so many times. I understand. I get it. I do. It's sad. Let's go. Let's move on. It's like Peacemaker and his dad having daddy issues. It's the same shit. Let's keep going.
No Peacemaker talk on this show.
Sorry.
Mostly because I don't understand the reference. I'm like the anti-Steve Rogers. Okay, let's see. You just need another toy. The problem is that too many people have made the EU version of Fett the real Boba.
Is that European Union?
Yes. Fett is actually a French name. Or don't watch Special Edition Jedi either. Pimp Boba Fett was there. Okay.
I would love a Pimp Boba Fett.
Screw the special editions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any rules?
How do we do
of
that?
Of course.
Wear a condom.
Wait. Are you talking about our Annie or Anakin Skywalker Annie?
Both.
Sorry.
Both.
Hey, both of them are pretty cool. I will.
By the way, don't let me end this show without introducing everybody. For some reason the titles, like everybody's names, they're coming up on the comments, but like your name badges aren't showing up for some reason. I'll look into that.
He
Oh,
is
nice.
David Banks. I am David Fowley.
I'm Ian Simmons.
Oh my gosh, and I'm Mike Crowley. This is great, guys. People who love The Last Jedi, the first to be exiled when my administration takes office. Okay.
You know what, Elliot? You could have Rise of Skywalker. How's that? You can have
Elliot,
that.
how does it feel to be blocked right now?
Nice.
No.
No.
You know, Elliot, there's a link for the live stream.
He doesn't have it. Let's see.
Elliot, come on.
This Boba Fett lines up better with the version from Clone Wars, which I couldn't speak to because I'm behind on my Clone Wars. Agreed, Elliot. Okay, so we are at the end of the comments.
Agreed,
again.
Elliot. Star Wars name. It's a bounty hunter named Agreed Elliot.
I thought it was just some ET says Elliot. I don't know.
Agreed Elliot.
Yikes. All right, so what else? We've kind of been talking around this episode. Well, okay.
That's before I saw the movie. That didn't even count.
I saw Dave cry at the trailer to Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker.
that's right. I
Before
sure
you
did.
even open up the comment means that you absolutely did cry.
Was that at
I
Star Wars
did
convention?
cry at the trailer. I was at a convention center and I was
Was it in the Winchester Arena celebration?
yes,
Because
you
I
were
was
there.
also there. Yeah.
Wow, small world.
Yeah.
I cried throughout Rise of Skywalker, but that's a whole different conversation.
I remember.
Yeah,
the
there you
guy
go.
I
that
was there with you. I remember.
The guy that I was
Mark and I.
dating at the time when Skywalker came out, we were pretty tight beforehand, and one of our first few dates was going to see the Rise of Skywalker and getting shit-faced drunk in the theater while doing it.
Wow.
That's
That's the best way to handle
enjoy
that movie.
I hope he's doing well. I've matured past that, and I just watch it sober now.
I want to
but
see Salacious Crumb come back and just destroy everybody. That would be the best way for this
I
show.
want to see Darth Raven.
Hell, I'd settle for our Crumb coming back and destroying everybody.
Oh,
so much toxic fan service hurt. Yeah.
So you guys remember that Max Rebo was on the desert skiff?
Yeah, was that another Max Rebo or is that?
What is it? They're just all called Max Rebos.
I don't know. It's just like another elephant.
He's Max
So
Rebo.
at some point before those skiffs
He's
got
a clone of him.
obliterated, Max Rebo escaped. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm a musician. I'm bailing.
He's the opposite of the Titanic band. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not going down with this ship.
Yeah.
No, maybe. So
His
what
keyboard
happened
turned into a
was-
surfboard.
Nice.
Affiliations.
What
The
happened
Max
was
Rebo band.
Max Rebo
Is he
was
part of the
spelled MAX.
Jizz-Wailers?
The nice. The Max for that we see in this show is spelled MAKS probably or MAXX two X's.
Max
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah.
It's Max with triple X. Sorry.
Does he live in a maxi pad?
Oh my God.
I remember watching the first episode and texting one of my Star Wars buddies, super excited that Max Rebo came back.
It's like that's what we're excited about. The first
I was
episode
like,
of
bro,
Boba
you're
Fett.
never gonna
That's
guess
what we're
who's coming
excited about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy shit! It's Max Rebo. He's like, he watched the episode, and I was like, I remember being like, "Did you see Max?"
What did you think about Fennec not being like too like freaked out? Is that she's now part droid? Like she's like, all right, what'd you do to me? Okay.
I just
Let's
want to
roll.
know. I just want to know why Boba Fett. I mean, I understand he's turned over a new leaf and all this other stuff. He's a bounty hunter, or he was. If he sees a wounded bounty hunter land in the desert,
Screw it.
old Boba Fett would go over there and just like make sure she was dead. None of this. Oh, I'm gonna take you to the hipster Power Ranger mod cafe and get y'all fixed up nice and purty like. No, none of that. None of this episode makes sense. By the way, I just want to mention something because we were talking about Max Rebo. Jennifer Beals, who I previously had said, can we just get more of her in the show? I take that statement back because if all she's going to be is like Basil exposition and like sit there and monologue about this Wookiee who I I don't get the mystique. I feel like this is more EU fan service that is just going over my head. But like, I'm seeing this Wookiee sitting in a bar. There's these little aliens who are gambling and they're doing really well. And he just comes over and starts bullying them. Like, okay, if we're working it so that this guy is going to join Boba Fett's crew, he just seems like this, unlikable bully. I understand he's a out of control villain Wookiee, but I'm very conflicted. I'm like, I don't want to have a monologue about how he's actually a good guy or whatever when he's still just terrorizing these these little guys are just there to have fun.
Not to mention he walks into the bar again like after he's like threatened the Hutts without his helmet, and he made some statement about like why he did it, but it still didn't make any sense whatsoever to his character. And yeah, to your point, the Jennifer Beals scene, it was a very long monologue to a guy getting his arms ripped off, which I think we could have just ripped his arms off and then ended the scene.
Well, we had to have the arm ripping because it's a reference to previous Star Wars. Yeah, it's great.
Of course, yeah.
That's what Wookiees do.
Bring us live action Ventress.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes.
I want, yeah.
That sounds like a mattress, Ventress.
I want to see all of them with their spitting lightsabers.
Ventress mattress.
American Ventress.
Yeah. Go to Ventress Mattress. Where dreams come true.
Well, that's the X-rated Star Wars show. Talk about rock hard abs now.
Jennifer Beals rock hard abs. What?
No, I think they're just complimenting me, which I appreciate, Don.
Cool.
Let's see. Butthole. What is this? What is this?
Hey, I brushed my teeth. What are you talking about?
Ew. Fett was saved by the Tusken Raiders. Okay. Here's another thing.
I like how he called them Sand People and then Tusken Raiders.
Boba Fett, to be clear, was not saved by the Tusken Raiders. He was enslaved by them.
Yeah. And
because even though it was
them because like he was,
but then they became family.
All right, but they made a big point of like, oh, we're not the Tusken Raiders that kill people. We just still enslave people and make them do our bidding. And
we still beat the hell out of Anakin Skywalker's mother and then like strap her into a hut because she couldn't handle our rituals.
I would like to see her strapped to a hut. That'd be kind of hot. But
they got all fast.
Jesus Christ!
Whose pockets are going off?
That would be someone parked outside my door. I'm really sorry.
I thought the microwave for hot pockets.
That's actually the alarm for us to say something positive about the
you know what? I still will stick with what I said last week.
It's the positive alarm.
Oh, so the moment we try to say something nice, the alarm goes off. Gotcha. Cool.
That's why it's perfect.
That's why it works. That's why the glass in my window, I could like punch right through it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like I can hear every conversation. I'm on like the 5th floor, and I'm.
Well,
is it made of the same material as the Book of Boba Fett scripts?
It is.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Sometimes when I like want to read along with the show, I just look out the window and I realize I get the same quality. But yeah, no, I still really like the Bantha. I think that the way that they designed him was neat. Maybe
it's like a snuffleupagus in this episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Bantha's licking his face. He's telling it to make babies. He's telling it to.
Yeah, he's a.
I think you're supposed to be.
This is Boba Fett.
God,
get out of here.
I just
wish
Warner Brothers
what?
I'll be honest. I wish Warner Brothers owned Star Wars at this point because
so like make a 3-hour
Star
Boba
Wars,
Fett
but
thing like they're doing with the Batman, where it's gonna be 3 hours long.
It might be good, but yeah. I mean, here's the thing: like Warner Brothers doesn't know what they're doing, but at least Disney isn't gonna. They wouldn't Disneyfy everything. They wouldn't make Boba Fett this nice guy. Yeah.
I want to see the Snyder cut of the Book of Boba Fett. I think it would just be a completely new series.
Slow motion,
release the Favreau
360 cameras.
And we would also see the Waynes killed again for no reason. Just
pearls
flying.
Hey,
Boba Fett kills the Waynes. He disintegrates them. That's why Darth Vader said no disintegrations.
Her pearls are fake. You know how they're fake? Because when you're supposed to pull out a pearl necklace, they shouldn't come apart because there's knots in the chain. So
really,
yeah.
So you're saying that Thomas Wayne was a cheap son of a bitch?
Yeah.
He passed. He got his wife fake pearls.
He got that fucking necklace.
But yeah, when they pulled them off, they should not fly. They
So
should
we
just
have-
be a string.
We have what, 3 more episodes of this?
We do.
Is it 3 or is it 8 or is it 4? Because I remember
enough.
one of these other
4.
shows I had said it was a short an episode, and I was wrong because I got bad information. But are we sure it's 7?
Here, let me recheck IMDb.
It's 7. Yeah,
I think it's
just
7
saw it.
episodes. We got 3 to go.
Do you think that they
Okay.
have like a mystery episode that they're gonna be waiting to roll out? Because
The
I
one
feel
where
like
it's
they
good?
always have one of those on the back burner in case people want more, and they go, "Oh my god, I can't wait 2 years. I need it now." And then like, "Hey, we got one more for you," you know. And then it's like an extended teaser or whatever.
Does
I
that
did like
transitive
what you
property
said.
work for a lack of fan enthusiasm? Could they just cut
And
it
that's
off at
what I-
6?
yeah, they're gonna take away an episode.
Well, I do wonder though that if Filoni and Favreau, to your point earlier, Annie, was like they know that this is the antithesis of this character, and then at the very end, when we're checked out, we'll get, you know, all the Boba Fett stuff we want. But I had to say, I don't know if from the writing from the show, if they're clever enough to do that. You know, because so far it's just like, why would you slog fans through this much for this long? For
Yeah,
this
it only
little?
has 7 episodes listed. So I mean, I don't
Well-
know. As long as they don't do one of those things where they're like, "Hey, the Book of Boba Fett will return."
No, please no.
I don't.
Oh, I
I,
think it
honestly, at
will.
this point, I don't think. I think if there is one of those at the end of the credits of episode 7, it is currently being scrubbed.
It'd
Like,
be
when
like, we heard you.
They're gonna
The
do what they
show's
did in
ended.
the Hawkeye teaser and just nuke it.
That's the thing. Like, there was one moment in this show that I think, had the show been better, it would have been a really kind of kick-ass Boba Fett moment. Is when he takes the Slave One and guns down the bikers.
Ugh.
Yeah. That was the
but-
only real Boba Fett moment where he didn't carry
That was
wiped out
just
people
all
however he
pew,
could.
pew, 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 we're done.
Right, but even that, it's a cool. I think it's a kind of a cool looking moment because we haven't really seen the Slave One. I don't. Maybe a bit in the Mandalorian, but like in the daylight on kind of a land situation, and it was kind of neat to see. But again, it's sort of a, not that I want to have sympathy for the biker gang. There are kind of like one-dimensional characters, but it just seemed kind of cowardly. Just
Yeah,
to
I
come
did
up
say
on
that
them from
also.
behind them and like just like firebomb
Okay.
them.
Hold on, though. I mean, don't complain about this isn't the Boba Fett that we're used to when he's actually acting like a merciless bounty hunter here. You know, it's like he's just mowing down people. That's
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
but
hit
he's
him with
also
that
doing it.
on
He's also
with
doing it in
smart
kind
move.
of the well. Here's the thing. It's a conflict because he's talking about doing things like in sort of like he wants respect. Now he probably doesn't want respect from this crazy biker gang, but you also don't garner respect by sneaking up on people and attacking them when they're most vulnerable. It's it's kind of a it's a weird moral compass this TV show has, and I just think that could have been the culmination of if they had actually done something with this biker storyline instead of just having them kill the Tusken Raiders off screen. I guess that was them, or was that the Pikes? I don't even remember at this point. But it's just like this random thing. Again, instead of using that starship, now they got Slave One to get the hell off of Tatooine. He's going to go stick his ship's face down the Sarlacc pit, and then he's going to go run over some dudes and firebomb them and then do whatever the hell else, having this like fake Godfather scene at the end with a bunch of random bounty hunters saying, okay, I'm going to go after the Pikes. I just need you guys to not betray me or, not get involved. What?
My favorite part of that is that the whole table is over the Rancor grating.
Yeah,
I love that aspect. It's like we're gonna eat, and we're gonna put the dining room table over the Rancor pit. We're gonna eat right there, but the Rancor's not gonna like smell food and stuff.
Well, he did stick the claw up.
Well, he did
I
get a
guess.
bone.
No, that
Yeah.
wasn't a claw. He was giving him meat. Boba was giving
But
him
I thought
meat.
I thought he didn't. I thought at one point like
maybe
something
you're right.
reached
Yeah,
up
maybe
out
you're
of the
right.
grate,
Yeah.
like briefly. It's kind of a neat idea, except again, I think that should have come a few episodes later because I'm still hung up on, oh, it's the cute kizzy face Rancor. Oh, he's bonded with Uncle Boba.
Yeah,
Trejo.
well,
No.
that's the edge taken away.
Yeah.
And it's all gone now. It's all Disney, and I have a legitimate fear for everything else Disney. I'm worried about Kenobi. I'm worried about because I'm like, if this show has all the right minds behind it, and you think it's going to work out, and then it's turning out like this, and what's going to happen with all the other shows, especially
Mike,
when they don't get their feedback?
I mean,
and
there's a
they've already
sequel
written
to
and shot everything.
Mike. There's a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't be worried about Kenobi. Just don't. Trust in you and trust in you and
Hey,
McGregor.
we have Idris Elba as Knuckles. Cut him some slack. Cut him some slack.
Yeah.
I
There's
like
some
James
good,
Marsden. Give me James Marsden. Give me the what's his name? Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz. Yeah.
Ben Parker,
Ben
Ben Schwartzman, Schwartzberg.
Schwartz. But I mean, like, Mike, you raise a good point, but at the same time, I think that we could be stuck with an anomaly.
Yeah.
This could be a creative experiment for them, where it's not too late for these upcoming productions to look at how the Book of Boba Fett is performing and how it's generating an audience reaction, such as ourselves sitting around and being like, God, I wish this was so much better. I think that even, we don't even have a trailer for Kenobi. We know little about Ahsoka. We don't know much
Maybe
about
Super Bowl. I'm predicting Super Bowl.
That's it's close enough to the end of this show that you're probably right, David.
You could be right.
You're probably right. Oh, you'll probably agree.
The thing about trailers, though, is that they not always, but they are often misleading, and they often provide highlights, right?
Yeah.
So if they do break out a Kenobi trailer or whatever, and you just see him and Anakin like split going back at it for a second, and then it cuts and you see Kenobi on the screen, sure, I'll take that, but that's going to tell me nothing about the show.
Hey,
right? That's the same thing what we got with this. When we had Boba, assumedly taking over Jabba's palace, well, we know nothing about that because they didn't tell us anything.
Well, I mean, in fairness,
we
I think we got
anything with that. I wanted to see a Star Wars Godfather crossover event. And
we need a Star Wars
They
Fredo.
didn't examine it well enough or make it interesting enough because the whole palace is empty, and we have, I guess an idea in this episode. They had like all the little red dots, like, oh, these are the bad guys, and here's what we're gonna do to get in there. Okay, did they kill all them? Did they how did he just get in it? Because he doesn't feel like a mob boss. He just feels like a guy in an empty kingdom with like not much to do. And who's he? And is the big payoff of the show going to be him fighting a bunch of fish people? Over spice.
But that's an interesting.
That's just the plot of Dune.
Yeah,
there's trouble in the bayou.
Well, here's Mike. You're onto something there. I think it would have been really cool if they had sold the show as Boba Fett is going to become a crime lord, and then in episode 1 he realizes there's no one in Jabba's palace. There's nothing going on at Mos Espa. He's like, there's nothing to rule here, and then he takes off in his starship and then goes on these intergalactic adventures, like a really positive bait and switch.
That would have been
honestly
way better.
The advertising for Book of Boba Fett, that little teaser we got at the end of The Mandalorian, that for me set up what this show ultimately became. Because at the end of The Mandalorian, I'm like, okay, I cannot wait for season 3 of this thing. But then, they have this random scene where Boba goes into the palace, he shoots a fat Bib Fortuna, and then he sits on the chair with Fennec next to him, and then it's like the Book of Boba Fett. I'm like, wait, what? They're making a series out of this? What? No. And then I was like, okay, fine. It's Favreau and Filoni. I trust in them. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, Disney, I think the gloves of Mickey has its palm over the franchise.
No, I don't think so.
I hope I'm wrong. And Disney has proven that they're wonderful storytellers through Marvel. And I'm hoping that this is misdirection. I pray it is, because there's so many places you can go. And here's the thing. If there is a season 2 of this show, if they give it good writing and they do
get off Tatooine,
establishing Boba, great. Like, hopefully they take the notes from like what we're saying and they go, yeah, Boba should be ruthless. We should have like a flashback of him doing something terrible, and then it comes back to him in current day, and we see why he.
Each season he'll be a crime lord on a different planet.
On the meat, there's nothing.
Here we are, season 2, Hoth, crime lord. Man, we should have stayed in Tatooine. It's freezing here.
It's just the Tatooine sets, but just like painted white.
Right. We're missing a lot of fun comments here.
If you ever want to stay, do you know they actually have Luke Skywalker's home? You can stay at it in Tatooine, but you really don't want to go there because it smells terrible and it's filled with like lizards and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
can
you don't.
imagine.
You want to
All
really
right.
go to Tunisia on a little hut, like in the middle of the desert?
You keep saying a little hut. I just think of these like giant worm creatures.
Oh, I just think of like the circular
Slugs,
places
slugs.
that everyone lives in Star Wars. I always call them huts.
Speaking of huts, whatever happened to them? Are we ever gonna get back to why?
To the twins.
Well, they went back to Hutta.
Hutta.
Yeah.
So
Don't
the answer
write
is
them in if they're not gonna do anything. It could have been a really interesting dynamic.
They did
Yeah.
something. They
I'd rather
gave him a
go to war with
rancor.
the huts than the pikes.
well, but here's the thing, Annie. We are never going to see the huts again because they went back to another planet, and we've established we're never leaving
We
Tatooine.
can't
Yeah,
leave.
we're never
Yeah.
leaving
We gotta
Tatooine.
stay on Tatooine. That's right. We can't leave. For
Now
some
I really
reason.
get why Anakin hates sand now. Jesus, man, the dude was right.
Fast and Furious #family. We're just catching up on the comments here. A huge truck is backing into Annie's
Yeah.
place. Oh, this is from the alarm.
Yeah, that's what exactly what happened.
Huge truck of money.
Yeah,
If she
that was
says
my
good things about it, they'll dump
coming
like
in.
Star Wars toys.
Hire an editor
Um,
for what? Our show? Hey, we do our best here.
Probably.
Give you a break.
Seriously, can't wait for the Batman. Yeah, they said
Batman.
DC show. Gotta keep it real, Mark.
Ferocious Banthas on the Snyder Cut.
Ferocious. You lost me at pancake necklace. Oh,
You
pearl
lost me
necklace.
at pearl necklace. Well,
David, tell me what part of that sentence says pancake in it.
I'm just hungry.
there's a part of Martha Wayne where she got really indignant and said, "Thomas, you gave me a fake pearl necklace." And he's like, "Well, you'll get a real one later." And then it was cut short in the alley.
That's right.
Thomas
See?
Wayne was
Thomas
cheap.
was cheap.
That's how he got rich. Book 2 of Boba Fett.
Book two.
More Fett, more
More
furious.
More furious.
I still say it's just a side project.
I
They allowed
agree.
Favreau. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's some of the comments and the news that's coming out about this show is kind of proving that, which is weird because again, you've got so many talented writers, people who are passionate about Star Wars. If you even just got Favreau to say, "Look, executive produce this show, hire your heavy hitters to create a Boba Fett show while you go off and work on something you care about," we could have had something amazing.
Something to hear about.
Fett and the Furious, yep.
I wonder, like, what shows like Cassian Endor going to be like? Where I'm not like, I don't know who this character. What if that show turns out to be awesome and this is lame? I don't think it will be, but
Well,
if they do get that awesome crew, bring it to the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah.
Well, the Andor show, yeah, that's coming out at some point. But I think is that taking place on Tatooine?
It probably will at one point.
Don't be a menace to Boba Fett while you're drinking your juice in the hood. Very nice. These titles are more entertaining than anything in episode 4.
This show. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Jinx, Mark, you owe me a Coke. No drug talk in the show, gang. Bounty Hunter went up a hill and came down a mountain. We're not talking about pearl necklaces anymore, Don. Okay. Noted. The Fett father. Better off dead. Win. I'm enjoying the show. Are you talking about this
Thank
show?
you. We try our hardest.
Me too, Elliot. Wait, what?
Did we even talk about what happens in the plot in this episode?
No.
We've been kind of bouncing
We
around
talked a
it.
little
It's
bit
like
about the ending for a hot
Yeah.
minute, and then that was it.
I think that was it. It's like we don't even know what happened. It's like because I knew what was gonna happen before I saw it. I'm like, oh, let me guess. He finds Fennec Shand, and then that's it. The
That's
only
what
thing I
happened. That's,
Yeah.
that's the
He
whole show.
finds
That's
Fennec,
been the
and then
show.
they have the Godfather
That
meeting.
has been the show for the last month. That's it.
You can see every step along the way. And now every time I watch it, I'm like, man, what dumb shit is Boba gonna do this time? And then like today, it was like he grinds his like where the cannons are at the end of the Slave One. They're grinding that because he can't see where he's going. And Fennec turns out to be a cool character, man.
And why
She's
couldn't he
taking
see?
him out of
What was
every
the deal?
hassle? Because he's a moron.
yeah, why couldn't he?
Why couldn't he see? Was there something obscuring? I didn't understand that.
Probably because his cockpit's up here and he's driving.
He's looking at the ceiling.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't see. I'm like, yeah, no shit. You should put a monitor there or a review mirror.
Yeah, all I know is this show is putting the Ming Na in my enthusiasm because I'm just like Ming Na. When is this going to be over?
Wow.
It's true.
Wow.
Tamura Less is
Lessison?
no.
Lessison.
Yeah,
Laura
there you go.
Lessison.
less is to more. I don't even know. I'm getting caught up with these wacky titles. We don't talk about Boba. The cockpit design of Slave One sucks. Oh, that's not a title. That's just a
Capital C.
That's just a valid
You
criticism.
really had to influence the bird there. Yeah.
Oh, here's a wacky title. Dude, where's my Slave One?
Dude, where's my
Really? Dude, where's my script?
Where's my fire spray? Okay.
Yeah. Again, no more necklace talk. All right, so Annie, you did mention you like the bantha stuff. That's a positive.
I do.
Okay.
That for me is I think it's neat how they dedicate so much screen time to it. I guess I think it's nice to kind of catch a break between incoherent action and incoherent storytelling to kind of be present in the moment with Boba Fett. It creates more of an emotional intimacy with the character while being in silence in a way, which is what he is known for. You get to travel with him. Even though we're still on Tatooine, it's nice to have those interludes that allow the show to kind of enjoy taking its time, even though it shouldn't be moving this slowly while you're at the halfway point.
I know Disney, it was Pixar back then, but they did with WALL-E. They made an almost like a mostly silent film that was completely enthralling and it told us a lot about the characters by what they didn't say. I wonder if the Book of Boba Fett would have, I think it would have worked. It would have worked certainly better than what we have now, and it would have been gutsy to have a show about a mostly silent bounty hunter, just going about his business and only talking when he needed to, like when he's interacting with a client or something, kind of hammering out the deal. But like you're right. No, I mean the Mandalorian. Well, he talks to a lot of people. He's
but it was later, like he started talking. Here's like Boba Fett's just a blabbermouth the whole way through.
I mean, Mandalorian was very to the point whenever he spoke, though. There was no. We catch Boba kind of monologuing and rambling on, whereas the others were other silent, strong, and strong and silent types that we would come across through the Star Wars universe. Have been of little words or very brief for good measure.
Yeah, I mean, like even the Mandalorian, when he got Baby Yoda, he talked a lot. He was flying around. I'm talking about have a completely solitary character, because you're right, Annie. Like the scenes, in the desert where he's just like tending the fire or hang out with the bantha. Those, if you would just have him
capitalize on those more.
Get rid of those back to flashbacks. Have him flashback to, as I mentioned before, like earlier points in his life, or even just thinking about what he was doing that day.
His first marriage.
His third marriage, for that matter. But I mean, Tamura Morrison, I think, is the kind of actor that really could do something with the type of Boba Fett that we've come to know. Even if you like, what if the only time we see him without his helmet on is when he's completely alone, like the Mandalore are supposed to do. I'm not talking about Costas Mandalore. I'm talking about the Mandalorians. So let's get back to the chats, because again, they're firing up. Let's see. You said Ming, and I want to watch Flash Gordon 1980 again. Understandable. Firefox 2 fire spray. Hey,
what's your porn?
Dude, I'm not clicking on that.
Comrade!
I'm not clicking on that.
Cartoon Network Clone Wars short stories, Volume 1 had very little dialogue a lot of the time. Good call.
Yep.
Young Boba talked a lot in Clone Wars.
Well, he's a young punk.
It's kind of like Boba's kind of like done what they did with Darth Maul, where like when he was brought back in Clone Wars, no one's ever really dead in the prequels. You can get chopped in half and fall in a gigantic hole, and still, as long as you eat bugs, you could still be alive. But like
bugs, you said.
Words. Darth Maul he talked a lot, but it was kind of interesting to hear what he had to say. Here, I'm not as interested in Boba. Like what he's monologuing about, I feel like he could wrap up in a few words. When he says, like, why did it take 4 episodes for me to know his motivation? I just don't understand the pacing or the different styles, because like everything just seems to be conflicting styles on top of each other. It doesn't know if it wants to be hip or cool. It doesn't know if it wants to be resonant and deep.
I'm a hip Boba.
Yeah.
I'm hip. I'm hip.
Yeah. It's just all over the place. I feel like they're not going to stick a landing like they do with Mando. Like Mando, the
I'm hip like you,
in the
Chip.
first episode exactly what they were doing. Here,
it's it's also that, I mean, I know we see Boba Fett cry, but it'd be nice to get some more emotion like we saw. Well, not like tears running out of his face, but we've seen like the little misty glints, like when he lost his Tuscans, when he had to say goodbye to the Bantha or whatever. You see, he's kind of getting misty-eyed. But we saw when he was fighting people in his appearance in Mandalorian, he got like, rageful and kind of really into it. I want to see some kind of emotion from him. Part of my problem with this show is that whenever he does open his mouth, it's like it's human NyQuil. It's like, I want to rule, respect.
And it's like,
right. And then you've got Fennec, who's just like, let's go take care of these guys. I'm like, okay, yeah.
They're not dynamic protagonists, but Boba Fett really is not meant to be a main character. If anything, it should be like Visions. It should be like, if you want Boba Fett, maybe include him in a Star Wars live action show where you have like a bunch of random stories that are episodic, sort of like Buck Rogers that inspired the material. And I think that would work way better, like one episode where Boba Fett just, does cool Boba Fett stuff, and then you go to something else. That's how you would really do fan service instead of this very, like, I was interested in a character study of Boba Fett. The way it's written, the way it's edited gets me really out of it. Because, dear Lord, those white flashes, especially when he has a white flash and when he's shooting Bib Fortuna and Mandalorian and all that, I'm going, my God, did they just hire some high school kid?
That was really weird too, because
and that was it.
They just sped up that whole part where like they just kind of fast forwarded to like, and then in a flashback montage, and then he killed Bib Fortuna, and then this happened, and now we're all caught up.
Well, I think it's partially because like 3 times an episode they mention how he got there. Like Jabba died and or Bib Fortuna took over and I killed Bib Fortuna. Every episode they mention that. Now, Mike, you bring up something interesting about the serials. Again, we're just writing a whole different show, I think, that we would like to see, and I'm fine with that. That is a criticism of critics that I've never bought. Like, oh, why you just talk about the show that you want to see? Because I'm not getting the show I want to see in the material we're discussing.
Because I'm watching it and I'm thinking how I can write it better when they didn't write it that well.
Well, who are you? I'm someone who watched the show and now I'm talking about it. So, what if during Kenobi, kind of like in comic books, you've got the main story, and then you've got like a 3-page backup. What if they'd done a Boba Fett? The Book of Boba Fett had been serialized by chapters, as like Elliot mentions, the shorts were only 3 minutes max, the Clone Wars shorts, but have a live action version of that at the end of like the post credits of every episode of Obi-Wan is a Boba Fett flashback that somehow connects to Obi-Wan, or maybe even it doesn't. It's just like a bonus Star Wars kind of an extra thing.
People complain about that. Why is this happening? Why isn't he getting his own show? Why is this happening? I don't understand.
Not everyone needs their own show, though. I think we're starting to figure that out. I think that there's an instance where the fans are more creative than the creative teams themselves. I'm sure if 4 of us had the money and the funding and the power, if we put our heads together, we could come up with something that is just as outstanding as the idea of Boba Fett having his own book or show or whatever the hell it is. And we are so amazed by what we could come up with because we have that intimacy with the character that we think isn't shared with the actual teams, with the actual creators who know these characters better than they know themselves. You'll see, so-and-so should, even like with the Knights of Ren petition going around the internet right now, where people think there's going to be a Knights of Ren film or series or something. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why? I didn't care about Kylo Ren then. I don't need to care about Kylo Ren now. I don't care about Domhnall Gleeson as like the worst performance I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, he was just a ragdoll to be thrown around.
Like even reading Kevin Trevorrow's script for Duel of the Fates, which would have been episode 9, the best Star Wars movie that was never made. The best Star Wars movie that was never made.
Well, it was like in
I think it's one of those instances where we allow it to live in our imagination, but the moment we put that imagination into action, it doesn't have that same consequence or repercussion that we really hope to see. With this, it's a great idea and it's super cool. But like Mike mentioned earlier, there are ways of going about it where you, even if this was, I know we've said this 100 times before, I'll say it 100 times more. If it was an anthology style series that really had no connection and just sent Boba on different missions, each episode with him and Fennec Shand, and they were, gathering this mob and he was acting as a hitman, I would be more interested in seeing that as a very choppy or disorganized mean of exploring his story more compared to trying to mellow out Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Be more digestible.
Mellow out.
Yeah,
That's like Schwarzenegger.
Thank you.
Mellow out.
Well, yeah, the Sarlacc pit is a perfect metaphor because in both instances, Boba Fett is very hard to swallow. Very well said, Annie. So true, but better written than a lot of Star Wars movies or later animated series. Just want them to do a limited series of the 9th Jedi. What is that?
The nth Jedi.
The nth. I don't
know. I will say I complain about remakes and blah, 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 but I am thrilled for the remake of Knights of the Old Republic. I don't care.
Video game.
Yes.
That
I don't
happens.
care how many companies Microsoft buys, I will. Well, wait, I have a PC, so I don't have to worry.
Oh, you mean like you could say Activision Blizzard? That's fine.
Visions.
Yeah, go ahead and get them. They just have like the crappiest games. I'll buy art.
Hey, did you know if you work for Activision Blizzard that you'll get harassed?
That makes sense, kind of.
Is
Like
that the new thing at Dairy Queen?
You are guaranteed to have some sort of psychological damage.
Dude, like that makes total sense because they have total idiot bros working on Call of Duty. You see behind the scenes, so I can see that totally.
Is that the flavor of the month at Dairy Queen?
The Activision Blizzard.
The Call of Duty flavor.
It tastes like, hey, baby. No,
ice cream.
It tastes like a call to HR.
Tastes like butter.
Mike, I just noticed you've got kind of a Jedi halo around you.
I know, right? I'm a Force
Yeah.
ghost.
He's a
I
Force
should make
ghost.
myself blue right now.
It's more like golden.
All right. Well, yeah, I think
Some Guinness.
well, some elegance.
He's
All right.
more machine than mine now.
Yeah.
Twisted and evil.
You can say that about Fennec Shand now.
Yeah.
But okay, I think we can wrap it up here. We did actually talk, I think, about most things in the episode, except, David, what do you want to discuss?
We did learn what happens when you shoot a gonk droid.
Yeah, we did.
It blows. Yeah, it's like
Big explosion.
Big explosion.
I watched this yesterday morning and I honestly feel like I watched it like 2 weeks ago. I completely forgot about that. Oh, we didn't mention the wacky kitchen business.
Where he's chasing after the little droid, and he's like, "I am Boba Fett." Like,
And
why?
Grievous-
You're telling it to like a
Grievous
little rabbit droid. Why would you?
Yeah.
I would have loved a moment where Fennec was rolling her eyes, just like, "Are you going to say that to everybody we meet?"
The world's deadliest bounty hunter couldn't catch like a little
I am
swinging
Boba
droid
Fett.
inside of a like kitchen with a very Ratatouille like sort of scene.
Real Boba Fett would have just taken one of those thermal detonators, thrown it into the kitchen, and been done with it.
Yep.
He's not. Yeah.
Except everyone would catch him then.
Yeah.
And-
I
and
kind
we-
of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said let's talk about that. Yeah.
I like how she just went behind him and chopped off his little droid neck. I'm like,
That's much more like, is it me or is Fennec more like Boba in this show? Like she's doing all the cool stuff. She's the one taking down the
She's, like,
droid. She's
cut
the one
to
who
the
took down the
chase.
She's
stick
a cool
guards
lady.
with ease. You know, what's Boba doing? Now that he's fully
He's
healed
hanging
up,
out.
is he going to become the image we think of him? And he just had to heal up like a character that you level up. in
women
a
make
video
better
game?
crime lords.
That's the secret to being a woman.
Being a crime lord?
Being a
Crime
crime
lord.
lord, according to cinema. You can be like a mob boss from Sopranos, isn't it?
I have to kill you all after this stream, but yeah.
Please do.
Well, we'll just kill
On
this
my
stream
way.
in a minute. Yeah. Okay, Visions episode is really interesting. Most crazy episode, the twins, the best episode, the ninth.
Oh
Jedi.
god, is that where they fight in the middle of space? Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
literally are in the middle of space without helmets, and they have a full-on lightsaber fight, and the lightsaber shoots out like a cannon laser, and like kills someone else. It's as anime as you get.
This franchise is dead. Anyway, that kitchen scene further proof the show is intended for kids. Yes, Fennec is an assassin, though. Sure, but that's why is she along for the ride in this?
That's what. Why'd she sign up? He's like, I got a few things to take care of. Okay, I'm on board. What?
Unless she's waiting for him to fall asleep so she can take him to the enhancement parlor and bot him up too.
She's got nothing going on.
She's just hanging out.
Yeah. Well, just kind of like we are. We're certainly not talking about Star Wars. We've been talking about the Book of Boba Fett. I am, as always, Ian Simmons. I'm here with Annie Banks of Chuckload of Comics and Movie Web, Mike Crowley of You'll Probably Agree and 25 Years Later, and David Fowley of Keeping It Real. And we've had a very lively chat. Thanks for hanging out, gang, and participating. Next week we'll be back 8:30 p.m. Central on Wednesday, the actual day the show airs. I was traveling and was unable to make it, but I'm quote unquote so happy I was able to watch Boba Fett this week and discuss it with you. Oh wait, hold on. Elliot says this will be the last comment. Close them out. She's showing loyalty. Sure. Why again? Why is she loyal? She's a bounty hunter. Bounty hunter. Yeah, they don't show loyalty.
He's totally convinced her. He gutted her, and he's totally convinced her.
Dude, I gotta say, I miss Jason Wingreen's voice. It captured it so much more than Tamara Morrison. Like, he just sounded terrifying in that, and like, what if he doesn't survive? He means a lot to me. It's like, whoa. When Tamara Morrison says, he just sounds like he's reading off a script.
Good to me, dead oi.
Dude. You're no good to me, Dad. You're gonna be dead. Are you calling me Dad? What? No, okay. You're no good to me, Dad.
You're no good to me, Dad.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into the Book of Boba Fett. I think next week we'll just change the title to the Boba Fett Booze Club. Because that's all I want to do when I'm watching the show is drink heavily. Unfortunately, I don't.
If you're in Chicago, remember to go Galway.
Yes, Galway Bay, definitely go check it out. Mike is
we were there
there
once. I forgot that we did an episode.
We were there a few times.
Yeah.
But back in pre-COVID days. But anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for watching. We hope it's entertaining, at least as entertaining as the show that we're talking about, perhaps even light years beyond entertaining as the Book of Boba Fett. And please like and subscribe and share and join us back here live next week. As always, follow my lovely and talented co-hosts. Their information is down below. And wait a second. Oh, Jeremy Cook, that was an excellent roast. Thank you very much.
That's what the Rancor said.
Nice. Now, here's the thing, Jeremy, just to clarify, we do not. Okay, maybe we enjoy beating up on Star Wars a little bit.
I get it.
Whoa. But we would love to be able to sit here and just like sing the praises of the Book of Boba Fett. But, we're honest in our opinions and our assessments, and we just can't do it yet. Maybe
can't praise and roast
7.
them.
Ooh, if you can't praise them, roast them. What?
I like that.
Another cooking thing.
All right. What Rancor tastes like?
Cooking with Boba.
Chicken.
That'll be Jon Favreau's new show.
Well, I bet it could be good.
Chef. The chef seems to be
How much do you want to bet? Tamara Morrison's going to show up on Chef.
I want Chef to go through the multiverse into Star Wars.
Well, we're already in the multiverse of badness, but
not through Marvel.
Yeah, it doesn't come out until May.
Right.
No, we're gonna get back to back.
Oh, I thought you said badness.
I did. I said that we are in the multiverse of badness with.
Okay, so we're on the same
comes out in May.
Now our names finally show up.
Yeah, what the heck? Okay, that's maybe it's something with StreamYard. Yeah, I'm ending the show, and all of a sudden now people can see who we are. I had to remember who all of you are. But no, anyway, thank you all again. I'm actually signing us off now. This has been the Boba Fett Book Club. We're going to be here for 3 more chapters, 3 more weeks. God help us all. Anyway, thanks. Good luck. Good night. Ending broadcast.